When people go to alternative sources in search of justice, it means certain things. First, that the conventional justice system is either delayed, compromised, costly, or not trustworthy. Would that be said of the case of Mohbad, where the search for justice has been taken to other alternative sources? Hello and welcome. My name is Jazini and the program is Bridges. Here we talk about relationships, we review information, lifestyle and more. Please help us like our videos and subscribe. That singular action of yours helps push our videos such that much people would see it. If you think that's what we give is worth hearing or worth seeing, please help us push it. Thank you. Family tussle. But I guess if they can untie that family knot, the knots, it might be able to help to get the needed justice for Mohbad. What are the issues? The family says DNA test and autopsy results. Remember that the police was in charge of the investigation, but what we can see is the father of the deceased taking up his case to alternative sources of justice. The first question should be, who is supposed to be in the forefront of the search for justice for Mohbad? If you ask me, it should be his wife. But because the father cries higher, it looks like the woman is no longer searching for justice. Moreover, she has become the issue and the clock in the search for justice for her own husband. Probably because the public is not privy to any effort she's making and she's not shouting so loud. But if you ask me, there are issues pointing to the fact that these two people, Mohbad and his wife, are still babies in the marriage institution. That could be where the first problem started. Because they don't have it together. Because they don't know their rights as couples. Because also the husband is not here to say his stance on how his wife will be treated. So many issues are also coming up. The issue of will. Mohbad's father has an argument that his 27-year-old child couldn't have written a will. Remember, he was 27 at the point of demise, but presumably he would have written the will anytime between 26 and below. And the father has an argument that the son couldn't have done that at such age, especially considering the fact that he is an African. It is not our mentality to write will when you are young. Do let me know what you think in the comment section. Is it just an African thing, or do people write their wills in most cases when they are old? That's just on the sideline. Daughter-in-law brings her own case where she says, this is the reason Baba is suspecting me. This is the reason we're having issues. Remember, in one of my videos, I told you that the lady had alleged that the father-in-law asked for the placenta of their child, which they refused, seemingly having the African parental hold on the child even after he's married. Several arguments have come up if he was legally married. They were married traditionally, and some people are saying it's not recognizable in the law, and if it is, they would be told to go home to go and settle their cases instead of coming to the court, because they would need a customary court marriage to be able to get the attention of the court regarding their marriage. I don't know how true that is. Does our courts not recognize our local laws concerning marriage? That is an issue for another day. We had also bought that sentiment that it wasn't proper for a father-in-law or a father to ask for the grandchild's placenta. But in our localities, these things apply because our parents try to help us guard those things that are protected by tradition, where a child's placenta is important and handled that way, and probably buried in places that are recognizable. Then She said trouble started at that point. Another point she raised was the issue of infidelity, where her father-in-law was caught with another woman and was said to have been set up by her. Bringing these issues now validates the claim that the man is after her for revenge. And like I said, probably he got the legal advice not to come from that angle. Now he is on DNA test and autopsy results. And one will ask, is it wrong for a father to ask for a DNA test? Ordinarily speaking, that shouldn't have been his first call. That shouldn't have been, the call shouldn't have come first from him. Ordinarily speaking, should have come from his son. But looking at it from the angle of justice, for a man who says he wants justice for his son, if it becomes his call, it's still understandable. Now the police has the autopsy results. And then the question comes, why the delays? We learned that some of the results would be coming from abroad and it's going to take some time. Is it the time that it is taking? There are also speculations that the very officers in charge of that case have been changed. I don't know how true that is. I also once lamented that there are discrepancies between the police reports and that of the accounts that have been given at the coroner's inquest. But now it's also rumored that the coroner's inquest has been suspended or cancelled even. Like I said, we would have to unravel, we will have to untie this knot, this family tussle, before we can find justice for Mohbad. And the question is, what will constitute justice for Mohbad? What would have been done for us to say that Mohbad has found justice? A lot of people have been roped into this case, but little by little they have been dropped off, from Naira Marley, Sam Larry, Prime Boy, the DJ, the organizers of the program, and everybody is gradually dropping off, and everything is being narrowed down to the wife for the following reasons. Before I give you the reasons for which hands are pointing to Wunmi, the question will also be, will the DNA test results be the justice Mohbad seek? Because that is what most people are saying. But for me, it might not be. If we narrow down the last 72 hours Mohbad lived before his death, the question would still be, who were with him? Who are the people that were with him within those last 72 hours? From the performance at Ikorodu, the show, to the house, to the time of death. The police said he bled profusely at the venue, but somehow in their account, there was also a way the blood was curtailed. But some other people have it that, could he have bled to the house and still stayed alive? But if you come to the testimonies of the people that were also with him and that can be called close allies within the last few hours, like his brother Adura, like the wife, like Prime Boy, like the DJ and his PA, like the driver that took him. If you also look at the accounts of those people who have testified within his circles, they have something common in their testimony, that there was no profuse bleeding from Mohbad. And I asked, was the police trying to build a case, or they are totally right? And the question also comes, if he didn't bleed to the house, what then killed him in the house? You see why people are pointing hands to the wife. But I would like to also tell those who are taking position already that they will also frustrate this matter. They will go ahead to frustrate this case, because you cannot be taking sides. And I'm going to tell you why. We have all been shouting justice for Mohbad, and for one reason or the other, we might have our feelings, but investigations, like I said, are like drag nets. Sometimes those you never expected to be the culprits will end up almost there. Obviously, Mohbad did not give up at the venue. He gave up at home. And people relied on CCTV cameras to tell them what would have happened. But it is said that the CCTV camera was bad. I've also heard that the management of the facility said the CCTVs were all working as at the time they moved in there. And then it is also said that CCTV camera showed when the nurse went in, meaning that the outside environment of the television could be seen, whereas what is inside cannot be seen. Then another issue is coming up, that there was blood at home. And Wunmi came out to say there was no blood in any bucket like the father claimed. But in recent times, we hear about a soaked duvet, a duvet that was soaked in blood heavily. What could have caused that? Is it true? Then Adura says, I was at home the night they came back, nothing happened to him. In my previous video, I told you how the boy roped Wunmi, the wife, in as well. He says he was hell and heady when we got home. He says there was an argument at home. He says nothing happened to him in the venue. And then we hear about a private embalmment. When Mohbad passed on and when he was buried in the most awkward way, all of us raised alarm why that should be. But the father says he was overwhelmed. But there are issues coming up now as to having an embalmment at home. I once asked in one of my videos, who certified Mohbad's death? Does he have a death certificate? And who was honored to receive that death certificate? If there was an embalmment at home, could we get to the person that performed that embalmment? What were his findings when he got to the house? What were the findings of the nurse who was told to intervene or treat him? All these are many questions that are now coming up from their family tussle. I also asked sometime that when family members die, those who have a say in their life are someone who was summoned when Mohbad died, and where did the father get his dead body? We had also thought that he was quickly buried without an embalmment, but we hear there was an embalmment. Is it how things are freely done? Mohbad was buried within 24 hours of his death. When was the embalmment carried out? When was the conclusions made considering the incidences surrounding his death? Let me tell you why I think that the results of the DNA will not be justice for Mohbad. Mohbad, before his death, accepted Liam as his son. He never questioned the paternity nor requested a DNA. I think he has the first right to ask for that. Even though the father is coming on the grounds of my son must find justice, and he's requesting that. Now that Mohbad didn't reject the child, it's still his child. And if peradventure if a DNA test is done and it is discovered that he didn't father Liam, will it now be said that it is whoever fathered Liam that killed him? Because that's also another speculation in public space. It is possible that Liam is not, I feel so awkward to even say that it is not his son, because it's not my business, and I have no right to question the paternity of that child. I just find it so awkward that people are so interested in digging into people's private and personal lives. But let's just assume, but not conceding, that that is the situation. There are situations where somebody is not the father of the child, and there was a case of infidelity and the family concealed it and took the child. There are also cases where it happens and the person responsible for the pregnancy is not in the question, like is not even interested in the property of Mohbad or taking the woman. Nobody has openly come out to say, I am dragging paternity and child with this young man and his wife. So who will you put that accusation on to be the culprit over the death of Mohbad? Like it is said that whoever fathers the child is the one that killed Mohbad. I don't believe that. What if too, it happens that in the DNA tests, the child is Mohbad's child? you lose. Whoever is accusing the girl of infidelity also loses. I've also seen cases where the child is the legitimate child of the man, but the man still got killed by the wife. You see why it is not, we're not going to use the DNA test result of this boy to determine who killed his father. So, like I said, assuming the test result comes negative and he is not the biological father of that boy, but it is not the particular person that fathered the boy that killed Mohbad. And what if in the test results, he is the father of the child? There are cases like that where a woman and a man are the legitimate parents of the child, and yet one of the partners kills each other. We cannot base justice for Mohbad on the DNA of Liam, because Mohbad never rejected that son. If he had rejected the son, that's when we come from that premise. Moreover, it is not he that deposited the seed that will be called a child. Sorry, a father. A father is he who took charge and stood in as a father. Do let me know what you think in the comment section about the trajectory of this case. I said earlier in my other video that the family tussle is frustrating the search for justice for Mohbad. And the question now is, what will constitute justice for Mohbad? Do we have to exonerate all the people who have been fingered in the sufferings of Mohbad before his death? It's unfortunate that Mohbad suffered in life and is suffering in death. We do hope that the police will step up this case and never keep quiet on it. They say justice can take a long time to achieve, and that is why we cannot give up on the police. But we do hope they know what they are doing. Since Adura is Mohbad's brother and lived with him, he was also in that house within the hours of his demise. Did he leave the house the night the argument happened? Is he holding brief for Mohbad's wife? These are many more issues that are coming up. But for now, I will always say we cannot point any categorical finger of accusation on Mohbad's wife, until proven otherwise. And I feel that DNA results should not determine the justice for Mohbad. That son should be Mohbad's only legacy, whether they think he's legitimate or not. And why would families go after a wife after her husband's death? Is it the search for property, like people are asking, or the search for justice? These and many more are questions in our head, and we cannot make categorical statements at this time. We'll keep you posted as the drama continues, but we hope that we don't do drama on this boy. He doesn't deserve that.